Have you ever been to a zoo and wish you could take one of the exotic animals home with you? Or have you ever imagined how fascinating it would be to have a lion or a tiger protecting your house instead of a dog? Sounds awesome, doesn't it? But exotic animals are meant to be kept in their natural habitat and not in the hands of private individuals as pets. By their very nature, exotic animals are wild and dangerous and do not adjust well to a captive environment. In the May 2013 internet article entitled "Should Wild Animals Be Kept as Pets?" the Humane Society mentions that 90% of the exotic pets die within the first year, and 90% of the remainder dies in the second year. Having exotic animals as pets is dangerous and very careless. I'm going to concentrate on these points: how it is bad for the animal having them as pets, how it is bad for the owner, and I'm finally going to go into detail about the incident that occurred having an exotic animal as a pet. The first thing I'm going to tell you about is how it is bad for the exotic animal having them as pets. Exotic animals do not make good companions. They require special care, housing, diet, and maintenance, which an average person cannot provide. The exotic animals kept as pets are usually prematurely removed from their mothers, often within just days of birth, which denies them proper nutrition and natural socialization, which is required for normal development. The little that we know of exotic animals shows us that we cannot meet the needs in captivity. Most animals can travel over a mile a day in the wild, so a stroll to the park is not going to meet their needs. According to the internet article entitled "Exotic Animals as Pets," ASPCA mentions that since the vast majority of people who keep exotic animals cannot meet their needs, the animals may be caged, chained, or even beaten into submission. For the owner's safety, they will remove the claws or the teeth, which is very harmful to the animal. The inactivity that the animals get due to extreme confinement, as well as standing and walking on a hard surface, can cause many problems like foot, joint, muscle, and circulatory problems. It can also lead to poor muscle tone and overall poor physical fitness. According to the research conducted by the University of Oxford zoologists, among the carnivores, naturally wide-ranging species show that the most evidence of stress and/or psychological dysfunction in captivity. People think that if zoos have them, then they should also be able to care for that animal. But what they don't realize is that zoos have certain criteria they have to meet in order to have that exotic animal. Malnutrition, stress, trauma, and behavioral disorders are common in exotic pets as well. Trying to get medical care for the animal is very difficult, not only because it may be illegal to own, but the animal hides the illness. Having a pet is hard work and time consuming, much less trying to care for an exotic pet that you know nothing about. The second thing I'm going to tell you about is how it is bad for the owner having that exotic pet. Every year, exotic animals seriously hurt or kill people, whether it be the owner or the friends of the owner. One main reason people sell and buy exotic animals is because there is money involved. The Wildcat Sanctuary noted in one of their newsletters that all across America, exotic animals are being sold as pets or exhibits in roadside zoos. The motive for these breeders is profit. The profit that is being made off exotic animals doesn't come close to the cost of someone's life. In the internet article entitled "Exotic Animals as Pets," ASPCA mentioned that if it walks, crawls, slithers, or flies, chances are we have it, and that is true of diseases also. Exotic animals pose serious health risks to humans. Exotic animals are carriers of zoonotic diseases such as herpes B, monkeypox, and salmonellosis. Research shows that at least 1 in 3 reptiles carry salmonella and shigella. Most of the exotic animals are infected with herpes B, which is a virus that is harmless to them but fatal in humans. The animals pass that virus through saliva or genital secretions. If a human is bit, scratched, or spit on by that animal, then it is high risk of catching that disease. Around 90% of the reptiles are carriers of salmonella in their feces. This disease is caused by when an individual comes in contact with that animal and fails to wash their hands properly before eating. This disease does not make the animal sick, but in humans it causes diarrhea, headache, nausea, vomiting, abdomen cramps, and even leads to death. Not only do the exotic animals carry the disease, they also grow to be very large. No individual can control or care for something of that size, and so how would you call it a pet? Most people say that they just want an exotic animal for the wow factor, but don't take into account the dangers they are putting themselves, friends, and neighbors into, because the animal can seriously injure or kill someone in the blink of an eye. And this shows right here that there's between 5,000 and 7,000 tigers are kept in pets, which is more than exists in the wild today. The tiger population in the wild is as few as 3,200, which is at an all-time low. And as mentioned before, about 90% of the reptiles carry and shed salmonella in their species. The third thing I am going to tell you about is an incident that occurred while having an exotic animal as a pet. I am only going to go into detail about this one, but there are over 3,000 incidents that have occurred, but there are many more they are unaware of. On October 11th, 2011, an Ohio man had basically a zoo in his backyard. Him and his wife was in debt for around $68,000 in unpaid income and property taxes. Being in so much debt led to a tragic scene in Muscombe County near Zanesville. He released his collection of tigers, lions, bears, and other beasts. In the internet article entitled, "Ohio owner of the exotic animals was deep in debt," NBC mentions that he released more than 50 animals before killing himself. After releasing them, they found his body near the cage, and it looked like a bite room from like a big cat. Dozens of the tigers, lions, and other beasts had to be shot by the officers. Only 6 animals were captured alive. One monkey was unaccounted for, which was infected with the herpes B virus. I hope this incident can make you have a better understanding how dangerous it is, not only for the owner, but also the animals. As I bring this to a close, I hope the next time you go to the zoo or think about getting an exotic animal, that you will have a better appreciation for the animals and understand that they are not to be pets. They are meant to be in the wild, and nothing is going to change that ever. I hope this speech helped you gain factual knowledge and why having an exotic animal as a pet is not only bad for the animal, but also the owner.